Well, hi everybody. How are you guys tonight? Oh my goodness. Yep, here I am. I'm in Winnemucca, Nevada. I am in our hotel room, pet friendly. Aldo is with us. He's totally wigged out of what I'm doing. And so I am here. How is everybody? We had a wonderful drive. Let's check in here, see how everybody is. Linda's here. That's oh no, Linda, no sharp objects allowed. Oh, crafting, yeah. That's some part of the reason why I don't do some of those things that require cutting. I've managed to cut myself really badly, and I have a really poor clotting time, and it's just not a pretty picture. There's Linda and Tamara. Hi, yay, Tamara's here. Oh, hey, I axe with you. That's wonderful. Oh my gosh. I saw your note that you sent the email. Thank you. And I knew you were picking her up. That's awesome. And Linda, Julia's here. Yay. And, yep. Gail's here. Hi, Gail. How you doing? It's good to have you here. And on the road, yep, taking this on the road. That's always a trick on the road, wondering if things are going to connect and how good is the hotel Wi-Fi going to be, and where can you get the best sound and lighting. And crazy as it is, usually the best sound and lighting is coming from when you're sitting in the bathroom in your hotel room, because the rest of the lighting is like subdued and everything like this, and this night I could adjust my temperature, I suppose, and not look quite so orange, or then I look green. Nope, then I really look green. So yep, anyway, eaves it down a little bit. There we go, do that. Yeah, anyway, so it's always a trick, and then getting the wires to connect the same way and to do things. Yeah. So, but I did it because I don't have an overhead camera, so I can't have an actual book, so I have to have the book off my Libby, off my iPad or off my phone. And the iPad was being persnickety, but I finally got it to work. It's good. I feel accomplished. Whew. Oh yeah. Hey, there is Angel. How are you, Angie and Larry? I hope too. How you doing? So today, yay, we left Eugene this morning. Left the grandkids' house about 8:15, I'd say, 8:30, and then made it to the little grocery store to get coffee and something to eat in the morning. So headed on the road by about 9:15. And we arrived here in Winnemucca like at 5 o'clock, I think. A little after, I can't quite remember, but it was an 8-hour drive. And that wasn't really too bad. We did some really interesting roads that we hadn't been on. Did have to go through an area that had a lot of fire smoke first thing in the morning, because there's a forest fire off of one of the 58 in Oregon, and but then we hit some high desert area, and it was just there was a stretch of probably maybe 150 miles where we saw 2 other cars. 2, that was it. It was just like we were in the high desert, we were cruising, and it was great fun. Some crazy curvy roads though, that was like whoa, because you were at high passes too, and it was, you're at 5,000 6,000 feet. One of them was we went from about 3,500 feet to 6,000 feet up this just really curvy high on the edge, and I was like whoa. But it was fun. And so I made it here. So I thought I would, yep, the middle of yeah, Apple products are quality, but they are, it's actually with live streaming, it's not just Apple products, any products. It's hooking up when you're in a place that, because I'm not streaming at 4K, and I'm not streaming at 1440, I'm streaming at like 1080, and I could do that one. I almost went lower, but I knew I could get this one. It would be a little better quality. So, but it's just a matter of getting the right wires and the right things to read. And so, yeah, it's Winnemucca is about 95 miles from the northern border of Nevada, kind of like in the middle and the top. And it's a pretty good sized city. But in Nevada, there's Reno and there's Las Vegas, and then there's probably Winnemucca, and there's not much else in Nevada other than lots and lots of open desert area and secret roads that go to who knows where. So, yeah. Anyway, yep, it's the middle of nowhere. A friend who lived in Winnemucca. Yep, it's not known for, it's got casinos, typical Nevada. Don't know quite what else. There's a few government off roads out of here that are kind of like, don't go big things, gates across them. So who knows what. Anyway, tonight for this story, since I had such a great time with McLean and Rook and Rory last night and this morning, I found a book about a generational kind of grandmother type story, and it was illustrated. I chose it because Yuri Morales, who I talked about the other day, the illustrator, when I read about different illustrators. I don't know a lot about the author, but she has a description at the end of the book that's really, well, I might read that first because it's kind of cool. Hang on, let me get this. Where am I? Why is I stuck? Why is that stuck? Huh. Why are you stuck? Sometimes things get stuck, my apps. So because I have enough apps going here. Close them all, open it up, and Ladder to the Moon. The book is called Ladder to the Moon, and I'm going to tell you what the author, Maya Sotoroing, wrote about why she wrote this book, because it's kind of a different story. The illustrations by Yuri Morales are incredible. So she said, come on. Oh, reload pages. Come on. There we go. Back to, there we go. Author's note. She says, when I was 9, living in Semarang on the island of Java, my mother gave me a postcard of the 1958 Georgia O'Keeffe painting Ladder to the Moon. I wish I could show you that painting. Maybe when I get back. I think I have a copy of it, I can find one. But I love Georgia O'Keeffe, if you want to look it up at some time. I loved it. A sturdy yet delicate ladder hung suspended over the silhouetted desert, and above it, slightly to the left, was a soft half moon. I wonder, hang on, let me check something here, if I can do this. Ladder to the Moon. Ladder to the Moon, Georgia G. O'Keeffe. See if I can find it, an image of it. No matches, it says ladder to search. Back. Oh, O'Keeffe. Search. Okay. No confined. Oh, well. Anyway, she says, a sturdy yet delicate ladder hung suspended over a silhouetted desert, and above it, slightly to the left, was a soft half moon. The moon wasn't the focus. I remember the ladder wasn't even actually pointing to it. It was a pretty thing in the distance. The real focus of the painting was the ladder. The journey, that was what mattered. Life's wondrous journey of discovery. My mother, she says, was a remarkable woman. She would get down on the floor and really play with my brother and me. She built us a kiln for making pottery, and she made toys with us to remind us to relish our childhood freedom. But above all, my mother, oops, here, I might not have my speaker on right. You guys, hang on. Goof. Hang on. Sound and, oh, that's what I did. Yep, there we go. This will probably sound better now. There we go. Anyway, my mother was she'd get down on the floor making pottery, and she made toys with us to remind us to relish our childhood freedom. But above all, my mother was a storyteller. She loved listening to stories and reading them to us. She would share the stories of faraway people while sitting in a hammock and looking up toward the clouds. She would create stories about nearby people while sitting around a table surrounded by friends. These stories about heroic journeys and love of every kind are a large part of what made me decide to become a teacher and have become the very foundation of what I teach. When I was a teenager, my mom would wake me up at night to gaze at the moon. Though I failed to fully appreciate the beauty of those midnight moon gazings then, now I hunger to have them back. My daughter, Sulea, was born a full decade after my mother died of ovarian and uterine cancer. Becoming a parent made me think of my own mother while both intense grief and profound gratitude. More than anything, I wished that my mother and daughters could have known and loved each other. I hoped that I could teach my daughters some of the many things I learned as I grew up witnessing my mother's extraordinary compassion and empathy. It was then that I decided to unite grandmother and grandchild through a story in which my mother could meet one of her granddaughters and share the moon with her. They could become part of the moon's light, and as Suhaila climbed the ladder, she would climb toward a more expansive vista and learn the meaning of service. She would watch her grandmother heal and shelter those who had suffered through natural and man-made tragedies, and eventually become the one to reach down and help up and heal. This book is dedicated to my mother and my daughters. Though they are separated by breath and years, we honor the strength and the moon that they will always share. I thought that was just wonderful. And then with Tamara having her godchild with her and what she's done there, I thought it would be a fun thing to add this story in. And it's called Ladder to the Moon. And let me get this back to where it's supposed to be so I can hopefully read and make sense of this. And here we go. All right. I've been so excited. Last time we spent her with her was 6 months ago. Yay! Is the mother and daughter, yes. So, done. Larry, hi. Hi, Larry. Larry's listening. Good. Okay, I hope the sound is better now. I think it is. It's looking better on my sound thing. Okay, here we go. Also don't have my mouse, so I'm having to use my little, here we go. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. There we go. Ladder to the Moon by Maya Sotoro Ning and illustrated by Yuri Morales. I have to get to... The illustrations are just something else. Let's see, I think I have it on this. Nope, I have it on this. There we go. And they're were created with acrylics on paper and then digitally manipulated. One cool new evening, Suhaila asked her mama, "What was Grandma Annie like?" "She was like the moon," her mother replied. full, soft, and curious. Your grandma would wrap her arms around the whole world if she could. Mama gave Suhaila a hug. You have Grandma Annie's hands, she said. Later, Suhaila lay in her pajamas, the moonlight coming through an open window. She looked at her hands, front, side, and back, and wondered what else she'd gotten from her grandma. As the night deepened and crickets grew loud, Suhaila wondered and waited. It seemed like something was going to happen. Then, as though in answer to her wondering, a golden ladder appeared at the edge of the sill. There, right on the lowest rung, was Suhaila's grandmother, her silver-bangled arms outstretched and tinkling. Do you want an adventure, my dimpled child? Suhaila nodded twice, the second time more certainly. Then she tossed herself out of bed like a tumbleweed and ran to the window. Together, step by step, they climbed that ladder in the path carved by the moon's glow. From the top rung, Grandma Annie jumped to the moon first. She let herself grow wider and wider, wider than the biggest crater. Then Suhaila jumped too into Grandma Annie's soft waiting lamp. Grandma Annie wrapped her arms around Suhaila's chest, taking the shiver out of the child. The two looked back toward Earth, and Suhaila tried to be brave about feeling so far from home. Oh, what fun, said Annie. What now? asked Suhaila. Listen, said Annie, listen. The moon is a gray place. It's true, but the songs of the moon are plenty. Some are plain and some fancy. But Suhaila listened to them all, and through listening, she knew more than she had known before. With each new song, she smiled and felt stronger until the edges of her smile nudged her Grandma Annie, and they too knew each other completely. Sometimes a smile is strong enough to do that. I hear other voices, Grandma Annie said then, and together they gazed down at the earth below. A 50-foot wave was sweeping from the ocean to the land, and through swirling waters, swimmers struggled up toward the surface. Kick hard, Annie encouraged them. Swim! Tilting her head toward her granddaughter, she asked, Shall we invite them to join us, little one? May we? We have lots of room, Suhaila responded. Annie nodded and let her voice drift down. Come dance and get warm, babies, Annie urged. And when the next giant wave crested, all the children leaped high like flying fish. Suhaila and Annie caught them by their fingertips and pulled them up to the moon. Draping scarves around their shoulders, they swung the children round and round until they all could laugh again, loud and long. Then Grandma Annie paused and whispered, I taste other troubles. Suhaila tasted the air too, and through tasting, she knew more than she had known before. On the ground below, two sisters climbed down two tall towers that trembled and swayed on quaking soil. Hang on tight, Annie urged, and when the earth stopped shaking, Annie and Suhaila watched the sisters wipe dust from their faces and stick out their tongues to catch some soft rain. Come bathe and drink with us, Annie invited them. Will they know what to do, Grandma? Suhaila asked. Do they know how to get here? Don't worry, honey, Annie reassured her. They're stronger than they realize. And sure enough, Suhaila watched the sisters weave a shimmering spiral and begin to climb. Grandma Annie embraced the young woman at the landing. Together they scrubbed themselves clean in falls of mist and drank sweet moon dew from the silver teacups. When the sisters were refreshed, they spoke to Annie and Sohaila. "There is still so much to do. There are fires to be tended, gardens to be weeded, and kapok trees to be seeded." "We'll work together," Annie promised. "We'll throw in our hearts and minds and work with our hands to make the land a little more kind." And for sure they would. Together, they'd build bridges and buildings and bonds between people. Looking back at Earth, Grandma Annie spoke again. "I feel faith moving the air down there," she said. "They're praying." "For what?" asked Sohaila. "For one another and for us," Annie told her, "and to make the fighting stop." Setting down her teacup, Sohaila stood and felt it then, and through feeling, knew more than she had before. Looking past the golden ladder, she spotted people whose hands pointed upward from a synagogue, a temple, a mosque, and a steepled church. One by one, every person was finding his or her own path to the moon, each path connecting with the others in hope's massive stream. The moon crew was getting large now. Everyone sat and traded stories about courage in canyons and discoveries in the desert, stories about people who had lost their languages, and stories about the poor and powerless. "All these people who need us are people just like you and me. Do you see?" asked Annie after the last tale was told. Sohaila washed her eyes and did see, and through seeing, knew more than she had known before. When Sohaila and Grandma Annie looked down again, they saw a baby boy being born from the center of a stalk of corn. A frail great-grandmother left her cliffside home, straightened her stooped spine, and became strong again, just long enough to help the baby take his very first step. Then Grandma Annie watched as Sohaila, all by herself, reached out and took the great-grandmother's hand, helping her onto the ladder. Together they climbed, one of them old and one still quite new. All the boys and girls on the moon, all the men and women were now part of the moon's hum. Their silhouettes could be seen from far below and gave a feeling of plenty to those who had little. Their dancing movements gave feelings of freedom to those who were trapped in small spaces. Those who had been fighting stopped when they heard the moon's song and saw its light filling nooks and streams. Eventually, Sohaila turned to her grandmother and again nodded twice. Grandma Annie's nose twitched and her lip trembled with love. "I suppose it's time for you to go back." "Yes," said Sohaila. "Mama misses me, I'm sure. Will you be okay?" "Oh, yes, little pumpkin," Annie replied. "I am so happy we had this time." With a snuggle and a smooch, they parted, looking back just once. Sohaila slid down moonbeams straight into her bed. She sat for a quiet half moment, feeling proud for having helped others heal, for having helped others learn to move forward and upward and around. Together, those of us left on earth would plant seeds in soft soil. Grandma Annie would send tides to nourish them and weave a net of love around us all. "Mama, I'm home," Sahela called out into the hallway. "Mama, I met her." "I'm in here, baby. Come, tell me everything." And that's the story. I love these, like this one. Look at of her reaching down for the great grandmother and the little one being left with an animal to hear all the things that they're telling, the stories they're telling in all the different languages that are connected around the heads of the people. Ooh. Look at that. Isn't this such a beautiful book? Yay. This was just a gorgeous book. And Yuri Morales said, the illustrator's note, "I knew I was meant to create art for this book from the moment I first read the manuscript. However, while I felt a deep connection to the story, I also had many questions. What does faith look like? How can inner strength be represented in an image? Would children understand my interpretation of growth toward a higher self? I am a great believer in personal mythology and the strength and learning found in the stories of our sisters and brothers, our parents and grandparents, our ancestors, and ourselves. And so, in my desire to best illustrate Ladder to the Moon, I decided to depict in my work some stories of struggle and growth, pain and healing, death and life that I have heard through the years. So you will find the image of a caring dog like the one the Aztecs believed to be a person's companion in life and later again on the journey of death. The illustration of people telling stories by the fire is seeded with lines from traditional narratives, as well as from stories that friends have told me of events that happened to their families. I imagined every character in this book to have a voice and a story that needed to be heard. Stories of creation, such as the legend that tells of humanity being created from the corn, real-life stories of women and their children fighting for life and dignity, stories of men using their tribe's wisdom to take care of the community, and ultimately the story of Sahela and Annie, a grandchild and her grandmother, reaching toward each other to learn, to love, and to grow together in their service to others. What an honor to have added my voice to this story. Yuri Morales. Oh, okay, you guys, this book is pretty dang extraordinary. Just amazing. Got my book, All Because You Matter. Oh, yay. Yeah. The sentiment of this book is so beautiful. You're right, Gail. It is a beautiful book. I'll have to make a copy of Angie's. I want to get that. Angie, that's your Facebook page, right? That you have permalink. That I think in your Facebook group, I'm already a member. I think I already joined it. I always forget. I get so busy with this, I forget to go and do anything. Fine Art of Destruction. Oh, is he on? Oh, that's right. He's on tonight at 7:30. All right. I should have the book ordered. Yay. I ex-grandmother and I have such a big hug. Oh, I'm so glad. Isn't family grand, Tamara? Yeah, it is. Grandmother, grand Tamara. It's just, I had such a good time with the kids yesterday, last night. And then this morning, Oh my gosh, you guys. This morning, Rook really, she wanted me to do beads with her before breakfast, and she wanted to paint and all that. So beads was a little much first thing at early in the morning, and she hadn't had breakfast yet. So she came out and popped her waffle. She's 4. She can get her own waffle. She got her waffle, and Mama, can I put it in the toaster? Yeah, she could put it. So she put it in. She got it all going. Mama, can I put in Brothers? Yes, she could put it in. So she put in McLean's, got it going. And then I went and grabbed my sketchbook, and I got my Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2 the crayons that when you color with them, then you put a paintbrush with water, then they turn. She just about flipped when she saw that. Mama, Daddy, look this, they turned to paint. It turns to paint. It's so cute. Is this Friday or Saturday? I don't know what day it is. Today's just Friday, right?
Still Friday.
It's still Friday. So yes, I think his is tomorrow night. Nathan's we look into each other's eyes, and that look is so deep and meaningful. Yeah, it is. Anyway, you guys, that was my story for tonight, and I just loved it. I hope you enjoyed it too. The illustrations were just incredible, and then these added things that she did, like she said, that the stories of things that she heard from people, I wonder, she has in different languages, and here they're in different languages. Wow. We are all connected, and so are our stories. I see, I listen. Oh man. And this, of all the different faiths coming together, that's powerful. Yeah, I just love this. The spiral and weaving together. It's just an amazing book. I liked it a bunch. I hope you guys did too. Everybody, yes, it is, Gail. No, it's Friday. I keep doing that. Today's Friday, and Nathan does his on Saturday night. So so much. I bet she has amazing stories. Yeah, I bet it'll be fun to those stories that we have from. I remember I wanted to do this too. You know, the connection that I had with my grandmother. It's Saturday there. Yeah, Nathan is on Sunday for you, Saturday for us. But the connection I had with my grandmother, what we did together, what we would do, and the stories we would tell are things that just completely permeate me and kind of sit really in my heart with what I do with my own grandkids and want them to see. So they're very excited. McLean and Rook and Rory are very excited because they know that in just 7 days, they're coming down to Phoenix too. And so we'll have all the kids together. So I'll have both my daughters, both my son-in-laws, and my husband, of course, and then the 5 grandkids are all going to be together, and we're going to do a big group birthday party for 3 of the grandkids, because Layla and Lachlan and McLean all have birthdays in October. So we're going to do a big thing, and they're going to be down there for at least a week also. So, well, we're going to be there longer, but so I'm going to have all 5 of them together for a time. Yay, I could probably make a big mess. I'm excited. Anyway, you guys, and you'll probably get guest appearance from them on doing stories with me. So anyway, you guys, that's it for tonight from Story and Art and Story Time, the circle. So again, close the story circle down with this. As always, keep looking for the beauty hidden in plain sight. and share it with others. Yeah, share the story, share the wonder, share the beauty, and I will catch you guys tomorrow again. But tomorrow I'll be coming to you from Vegas. Yeah, not in Vegas. We're staying outside of Vegas. I'm not a big Vegas. I go to Las Vegas and I go to the art galleries. And Aldo, yes, he's here. Yep. Oh, Aldo he went nuts with the grandkids. And they were like, oh, they could hardly stand it. They were like, Aldo. And they call him Waldo. And Rookie calls him Waldo rather than Aldo. It's pretty funny. But anyway, and Brooke calls Bob Bampagoo. Because I'm Grandma Goo, so she calls Bob, and Bob is Bampa. So she calls him Bampagoo. It's pretty funny. Called Goo. Wonderful, sadly dying. Oh, yep. All right, you guys, I will see you tomorrow. So take care, and I'll see you then. Thanks for being here.
In the heat of the night, we could get lost in all the lights and sounds. Feeling alright, we won't go home, we will just stay here downtown. There's not just stars on the boulevard, there is the light in your eyes. Oh, we don't need no black cards, I just need you by my side. We could be shameless, famous, running cool, with a love that leaves us weightless. Ooh, drop dead gorgeous, wow. Ooh, you got me feeling starstruck too. We could be famous.
I will have fun. You have fun too with Ayak.
Be famous. You blow my mind, looking like a model, better than usual. Yeah, you don't even try, not average or typical. I put you on a pedestal. There's not just stars on the boulevard, there is the light in your eyes. Oh, we don't need no black cards, I just need you by my side. We could be shameless, famous, running cool, with a love that leaves us weightless. Ooh, drop dead gorgeous, wow. Ooh, you got me feeling starstruck too. We could be famous.
I will enjoy them.
Be famous.
Thanks, Tamara and Julie and Gail and Linda and Angie and Larry for all being here. And Lupe, if you're lurking, thanks for being here. Grandma Goo, that's me.
We could be shameless, famous, running cool, with a love that leaves us weightless. Ooh, drop dead gorgeous, wow. Ooh, you got me feeling starstruck too. We could be famous. We could be famous. We could be famous. We could be famous.
Oh, wow. That'll be cool.